My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Shadows of Loathing. In the end of the last episode, we'd started a new day, but we had also possibly uncovered a code, again with thanks to a hint in the comments, about the word that may be involved in the, alternative time as the solution to this German puzzle over here. That being the spelling of the first name of the founder of this village of Sandwich, Fulk Proctor. So that is F-U-L-K-E, F-U-L-K-E. Can't say it's surprising nobody names their sons Fulk anymore. Anyway, the cellar doors are now unlocked. I enter. Why the maybe later option? Someone's chalked a magical ritual symbol on the cellar floor. That's ominous. I could mess with it. There's a gold pocket watch on the shelf, I'll investigate. The inside lid of the pocket watch is engraved, "To my son Tom on his 12th birthday." Well, that answers the question about what happens to Tom Watch originally, but in turn it also raises some additional questions. Since you effectively duplicated the watch by bringing back one from the future and giving it to Tom, it's probably best to leave this one here. Things would get real weird if you gave Tom this one as well. A shelf of dry goods, from before wet goods were discovered. A shelf of books so old you can't even pass the titles. Really, none of them? Well, there's one with the word blood in it. That probably means blood, and you're interested in blood. An encyclopedium of blood. It's a good thing human anatomy hasn't changed in the last 300 years, or this book would be way out of date. Grants an upgradable skill, blood lore, increases your maximum HP. Of course I'm gonna mess with this. You find some chalk on a nearby shelf, erase the circle, and redraw it backwards. That should throw a wrench into someone's plans. Yes, indeed. Interesting. One of those symbols is, of course, one of the symbols that we've seen before. A couple of them, in fact, are symbols that we've seen before, represented in Letters McCabe's area of the hobo carts. Interesting. But now let's have a look at what happens to Sandwich in the future. Is it still a museum? Ah, here we go. Welcome to the historical village of Sandwich, where the inhabitants kept history alive by living and working the same way people did here centuries ago. This house was residence of the Danforth family. Step inside to learn more. I may do so, and it doesn't look like we're selling just the identical jars of off-white stuff. We're selling handmade rag dolls as well now. A somewhat familiar looking man smiles from behind the counter. Some rubbing paper. May as well take a copy. Some sandwich cream there too if I happen to want it. Hecate. Do I want your boon of 3 hot armor? I'm gonna keep my current boon, but I will still pat the cat. The Danforth residence has been converted into a gift shop for your convenience. Why not take home a 3-armed ragdoll? A style that originated here but became extremely popular statewide in the mid-19... every single time, 1690s. This house has belonged to the Putnam family for hundreds of years. Feel free to ask about historical village life. This young lady looked quite a bit like Delia, though a little older. I talked to her. Hello, I'm Dorothy Putnam. Dolly to my friends. Hi, Dolly. I'm Ryan Who. Are you related to Delia Putnam? That's right, she was my great aunt, except more greats than that. I thought so. You just look, just like someone who looks like a Delia? Wait, never mind. About your nickname. Is it short for Dorothy, or is it because of the actual dolls? Actually, it's a little bit of both. I make a lot on the souvenir rag dolls we sell around here. Oh, do you have an interest in historical dolls? That would explain how you know about my great aunt Delia. Oh yeah, it totally would. In that case, I do. I've read her old diaries. Apparently, the 3 arms thing took off when she and her friend Patricia got into a squabble of some kind, and a passing traveler helped them make up. They became best friends after that. Aw, that's nice to hear. About Delia's friends. How did things turn out for Delia and Patricia and the rest of the kids? Did her diary say?
Let me think. Great Aunt Delia made lots of dolls and eventually married a traveling trader. Sometimes she went out on a route with him. Patricia got married to Big Six from one of the outlying farms, and they both moved north to start a ranch. Tom Danforth became a judge just like his pop, and Duty Head Peter became mayor, though it was basically by default. Nothing super interesting, but, you know, nothing much was back then. They all did well for themselves.
Wow, that's good. Thanks for the closure.
What?
Nothing. What's it like being a historical reenactor? Honestly, it just seems kind of boring.
It's not so bad. It's easy work, and I take the weekends off to go cut loose in Ocean City with my friends, so it's not like I'm suffocating in this wolf rock year round. Could you imagine? Sheesh.
Yeah. See you later, Dolly. Not gonna be able to go into the house anymore, makes sense. This horse trough is nearly 300 years old. The water is not that old, but you shouldn't drink it anyway. That's for the horses. Can I fish in it now? I can fish in it now, finally. We get a bucket of chum and one wet cigarette. I'm getting a lot of these cigarettes now. A couple of the buckets of chum too. I continue fishing. I think the cigarettes might be part of an upcoming quest. A Pennsylvania Turnpike. Someone tell the boss. Cheese loaf! Cheese loaf! Have I given a cheese loaf to the rat? Make a wish. Let's obviously fish here too. 24 meat and an extra at the end of the line. Okay, I'm liking it, I'm liking it. 22 and an extra 2 at the end of the line. Look, I'm just saying, the fishing is a lot more valuable monetarily than it has ever been in the past. We actually use this well for water, so please don't throw meat into it. Sandwiches Church also served as an ersatz town hall, courtroom, racquetball court, and schoolhouse. This antique altar has been carefully maintained for years. No sign of a struggle in here. Excellent. Sandwich gazebo with vagrants welcome. It is a nice gazebo, I totally agree. Look in the tub and wonder what a magic potion made of daisies would do. Make someone nice? No, you have to include sugar, spice, and also chemical X in order to do that, I think. The old man looks familiar. I talked to him. Hi there. Well, hello. Welcome to Sandwich. My name's Phil Proctor. I'm the mayor around town. Any questions you may have about our little historical village, I'd be happy to answer as best I can.
Hi. If you grew up here, why do you sound like that?
Oh, it's mostly because I'm old and I don't really know any other old voices for people at this point in time. I basically spun the Rolodex and got here.
Any relationship to Peter Proctor?
You must have seen the graves in our cemetery. Yeah, that Peter Proctor was my great, actually, I think it's like 5 or 6 great-grandfather. Yeah, no, we don't know much about him, but judging from that headstone, he must have been quite a character.
Yeah, you could say that. I assume. Can I go in your house?
I'm sorry, I'd love to show you the place, but we got a beautiful tapestry featuring portraits of some of my ancestors and a lot of other historical memorabilia, but you've arrived at a bad time. I'm afraid we're doing some renovation and restoration work, so it's a real mess inside. That's why I'm standing out here and waiting for the electrician or someone like him.
Electrician? I thought you were all 18th century historical reenactors around here.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, technically, but I have a telephone for emergencies, and once a week I get patrons that have left in the evening, so we all get together in my parlour to listen to the Looseness Castor Oil Flakes Mystical Musical Hour on the radio, you know?
Do you know anything about witchcraft?
Witchcraft? Oh, no. No witches around here. We filled the root cellar up with concrete purely because the house's foundation was a little shaky.
What's that got to do with
nothing? Thanks, talk to you later. What's going on here? Covering up for it, I see. Sandwich boasted the county's very first tripartite outhouse. Please do not attempt to use it, it's very late. May I dig in this toilet? I fish in this toilet. Oh boy. We get a sudden tricorn hat for it. Some reenactor must have been forced to flush their hat down the toilet as a condition of surrender. This is a hat with +1 moxie and 3 armor for hotness. This is the kind of hat they used to fish out of toilets during the Revolutionary War. Wow. That's authenticity. Alright, let's check out the graveyard, obviously. The wealthy Proctor family has owned the biggest and most conveniently toilet-adjacent house in the village. Peter Proctor, Beatrice Proctor, doesn't seem to have really changed much about any of them. John Putnam, Joseph Putnam, etc. More Putnams. Seems all good. I think we may be done here. So our reward, I guess, in general, was the ability to fish from the horse trough and get the wet cigarette? Seems relatively minor. Is there any play in telling anyone in this period of time what we've done? I think there might not be. That's a much simpler tapestry there. Fair enough. Let's head out then. Oh, right, of course. We need to quickly... Oh, actually, we can do some fishing here as well. But we do need to make our way, obviously, back to our own time. Look, I'm not... I was about to say I'm not going to finish fishing out this entire thing, but I will. It's only 3. It's just I'm gonna need some very significant inflation. Excuse me, we found another wet cigarette. Maybe that's not unique. Curious. Maybe it's not a quest item at all. Okay. So we done did that. Beppo's Hole, Cave. I mean, yeah, we could go fight some new spiders for a new day. I mean, it is a new day. Ultimately, I should probably visit each location here. You find a decaying nightstand driven into a ditch. I find some comfy hat lining and junk mail in there. Check out Mushroom Mountain, see if anything has progressed. That fungi all glowy. Looking good, still glowing. All right, let's see what the mine's been up to. Psychogeologist allows us to squeeze those rocks. Gumbuckle Mine main shaft with a big crack in the wall there. The support beam that is not full of termites. Don't need any more dynamite. Obviously, we've already cracked open that geode. Yep, all of this seems to make sense to me as well. Let's go over to the crystal store. You push through the woods into a small clearing and discover a group of 3 vampires because apparently you aren't allowed to discover anything good in any of these clearings. Well, I say 3 vampires, but there's 1 vampire, 1 bat, and 1 small cloud, which could be a vampire, her pet bat, and the leftovers of a bean lunch. I assure you, we are all 3 vampires. Ah, crap, she heard me. I talked to them. What's the deal here? Are you demonstrating the vampire revolution really on or something? What? You know, like the bat evolved out of the cloud and then the humanoid vampire evolved out of the bat? No, is the bat a caveman vampire? Oh, no, if anything, this is more the 3 states of vampire matter. What? You know, solid, liquid, gas? Bats are a liquid? Look, the metaphor is not a perfect one. Are we going to fight or what? Honestly, I'd rather keep talking about vampire physics. This is interesting. If you threw your solid, liquid, and gas, that implies the existence of a 4th kind of vampire, right? Look, I already said it's not a... Well, actually, yes. Now that you mention it, there is a 4th kind of vampire. A plasma vampire? Yes, when a vampire is destroyed by sunlight, sometimes they become a energy and short-lived vampire spirit, which we call a moroi. Which, now that you mention it, is rather analogous to the plasma state of matter. Neat. Well done. I have never thought of this before. You are very intelligent for a human. Ah, heck. I was kind of just stalling for time, to be honest, but maybe bats are liquid. Everyone turns around and looks at the bat, who shrugs wordlessly. I should go and find some other vampires to discuss the implications of this. Good evening, human. The vampires disappear into the woods, leaving behind the remains of their picnic. 7 experience and cosmetic wine. I just really like that event. I know I've read it before, but I really like that event. What can I say? All right, Crystal. Got some crystals? Oh, baby, you do indeed that I do not want. I will take, however, 1 copy of each, because that's how we roll. Thank you, Crystal, for your crystals. How's the Lighthouse man doing? You see your past self in the distance, heading up the road towards you. It must be time to give them the Mobius Ring. I don't have the choice not to give it to them, so I give it to them. Jeez, it's a good ring, though. Seems a shame to have to give it up, but easy come, easy go. You try to take the ring off, but... Boy, that try is real ominous, huh? It doesn't budge. You try swapping another ring onto your main finger, and that works, but now you're just wearing the Mobius Ring on your other hand. You switch them back and then try and take that off again, but no dice. Uh-oh. Is this thing cursed? The other you said you shouldn't use it, and you'd find out why if you did. Being unable to give up a good ring doesn't seem like that much of a curse, though. Wait, how did they give you the ring? They must have figured out a way to break the curse. Something about someone named Chester at Delphine Farm? There aren't any farms around here, though. It must be something you'll find out about later. In the meantime, you'd better make yourself scarce before the other you sees you. I don't suspect we will be able to do anything new or additional here at the Lighthouse. Of course, the Lighthouse Keeper is yet to make his second move. Gives us a polite nod, makes sense. Empty wet bookshelf, there's some bulbs. I don't need a big bulb though. Got it? Good. We're gonna be going back to SIT after this. Do not worry. That is ultimately the plan. I throw some seltzer at the fairies and we gain their items. A wet cigarette and another fish for the sack. Fished out of the dam here. I'm also not gonna go into the past. I don't think the past is gonna have refreshes based on each individual new day. That doesn't seem like a good idea to me. I know where there are a couple. I was about to say I'm not gonna go into the past, but like the past is already here. I still can't use that because of the hook stuck thing. There's a new there's a toilet here. I can fish in that. Hey, as it turns out, I still did need to go to this pass in order to get a collapsible hard helmet. This hard hat folds down into a smaller size in case you want to store it in a pocket or a toilet. I couldn't be more pleased with how that turned out, friends. Alright, of course I can't leave from this section, just back to the main map. We're in a pocket dimension. Makes sense. Fair enough. Now that we've gone this, it's time for us to go and check the junkyard in the present day. Our 6 Moxie allows us to steal our resolve and race the rodent very, very quickly. Soul powered. Don't click anyone new here. I don't think there's just going to be randomly a new interaction available. There is going to be the bell downstairs that I would have the ability to ring. You know, I actually don't think I'm going to continue checking the junkyard. I don't think that's necessary at the moment. I'm going to go to the distillery, though. Break free and escape from the spider webs on the way, making it a lot easier for myself. Make my way into Grandpa Joe's distillery. I did something's rattling around in my brain that says maybe I did want to be here for a reason, for something in particular. I can't remember what it was, though. And given nothing had a new interaction in there, I'm happy casting that thought into the abyss. Could I jump in and fight some spiders? Sure. Would I have to change weapon in order to do it? Also sure. Fairy lair, similar, hardware store we've been to. Alright, we did it! We did it! That's right, I did it! It's time to go to the SIT campus where we actually have a ridiculous amount of things to do. We have, number 1, the vampires in the, or rather the mob wants us to fight the vampires. We got a big holy block of ice that we are going to steam them with. Rufus wants to see us in his lab. We have more meat possibly, oh, sorry, more cheese possibly for the unusually smart rat. We have good things that we can do here, baby. You walk past the phone booth and, well, there's clearly something not right with this phone booth. I mean, the booth itself is kind of fine, but there's some kind of wiggling, twitching, shadowy mass inside of it. Looks like a horrible multi-armed monstrosity, scrabbling to get free. As you're standing there watching, one of the arms manages to grab the door handle and shadow spills out onto the sidewalk, splitting into 5 creepy little human-shaped shadows. What is this, some kind of shadow fraternity prank? I fight them. Oh no. I do really need to change my weapon at some point. It would help. I'm gonna do my tricky stuff. There we go. Boy, we may actually not win this fight. Okay, I'm gonna have to throw poison at one of the enemies there. Let's hypnosis one of you as well. How many of you can I take out before I lose? Is the fundamental question I'm trying to answer here, it looks like. 3 HP per round to all of us seems okay. My familiar acting twice would also be really, really good if I could have it, but I can't, so wang. Let's use a timpani to take an enemy out. Follow up with a more standardized weapon attack. No, you bled the old man. I needed that not to occur. I'll do 4 sleaze damage with my timpani, another 4 sleaze damage with my timpani. Okay, 2 of the targets are already going to be taking themselves out basically at the start of their own turns. Alright, at this point it's basically down to whether or not I can take them out with items. Rusty Collar Can for 15 physical damage. They can't take more than 4 physical damage at a time, so really what I'm looking for is damage I can deal to everyone. 10 cold damage to all enemies, that's what I'm looking for. Ice Bomb. I throw it. We follow up with a Piano Crush. Boom! You won! Nobody messes with telephone booths on your watch. Alexander Graham Bell would be proud. Professor Adams tells you some boring facts about the foes you've defeated, and Maurice becomes more powerful. It's Rufus, who I talk to.
Oh, hello again. What should I do with all these extra fishman eggs? Well, I can cook them for you with a pinch of lime and muriatic acid. They're totally edible.
Of course, we've gotten that from you before. What's the next step, Rufus?
So what's the next step?
I don't have to go back into the sewers, do I?
Oh no, that'll be much more straightforward. Well, you're part in it anyway.
That's what I like to hear.
I need some way to broadcast the quantum signal from this fishman pearl over as broad an area as possible, and I figured that the most robust transmission network available is probably the commercial radio band. The nearest broadcast tower is over at the Radio Shack at WCGR, which is in the Big Moist.
Okay, how do I get there? Radio Shack location unlocked.
Just take this transmitter I built and plug it into the console.
You got an item, Rufus's transmitter. You don't really understand what this machine does, but Rufus asks you to hook it up to a different machine that you also don't understand what it does.
This will transmit a special frequency out over the radio, and I just need a bunch of different test readings, and then I can adjust the signal for latency, data loss, and so forth. Look, all you have to do is find as many random radios as you can, tune into WCGR, and use this receiver to test the transmissions. At least 10 different radios should be enough. Let's call it 11, just in case.
You got an item, Rufus's receiver. You're not quite sure what this receives, but whatever it is, it's important to Rufus. Okay, I know where some of these are. One of these is directly outside. One of these is in the junkyard that we just came from as well. Let's go look for some. I mean, here's one immediately. So, how... Okay, maybe it has to be specific ones. Right? Rufus wants you to plug his transmitter into the console that... Okay, right. It has to go into the repeater Radio Shack in the Big Moist, and then I have to go to other radios to receive the signal. Got it. I had missed a step there, mon apologia. Not that that actually means anything, by the way. Let's open this one. There we go. And it's time to consider the boiler. Toss the holy iceberg into the boiler. You heave the giant ice cube into the boiler and the steam immediately becomes sort of nicer? Like whiter and a little bit sparkly. Like a cloud that an angel would sit on while playing a harp? It's probably just your imagination. What isn't, though, is the vampires screaming and melting into acrid piles of goo that they experience. Oh, Oh, this old disintegrating boiler is currently being powered by a bunch of burning garbage, which I can fish in, apparently. A handful of steam, okay. May I fish any further? Yes. You've got already as much steam as you are willing to carry. Sometimes water, just this side of too hot to handle. Beautiful. Let's go back to the mob and report what we've done. That is to Greasy Steve and Fish and Chips.
Honig,
Hello?
do you find yourself in need of a fuse this fine day?
Yeah. You start to lie to the guy, but when you open your mouth, a fuse falls out. He narrows his eyes and you walk away.
Kid, honestly, I didn't expect to see you again. You got a real talent.
I was nothing.
Don't sell yourself short, kids. You got a real future in the organization.
You got an item, a briefcase full of meat.
That's probably the last job you'll be getting from me. So you dealt a fatal blow to the bloodsuckers in this territory. If the boss has any more work for you, to be somewhere else. Good luck, kid.
Thanks, Steve. See you around. Excuse me, sorry, Steve. 1 second, I need to open this and check. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of gabagool. We're all fine then. What else at SIT? Anything? Are we now past SIT? The steam tunnel rat. I tried to see if I could feed it anything additional. I couldn't. All's well there then? So unless I want to go to every location here just to check on what's up for a new day, I think it's time to go to the Big Moist finally. Chapter 4, Swamped. Ooh, Swamp Bus Stop. You wouldn't trust this rickety old shelter to protect you from a single raindrop. It's a notice board, let's see what there is to notice. There's a notice from the Federal Bureau of Prohibition. Wanted. Information pertaining to the whereabouts of Jarvis and Clem Schlitz for the crime of Moonshinery. Last seen in the vicinity of an old rickety cabin. Location unlocked, Moonshiner's cabin. That's probably worth investigating. I want to see if there's anything else here to notice though. A poster grabs your attention. Missing Tom Chapman, inquire at Loudmouth Bass and Sons. The face of a teenage boy is circled with an attached photograph. The portrait of a boy and his elder male relatives, each holding a largemouth bass proportionate to their own height. There's a similar poster right beneath it. Missing Kathy Tracy, inquire at Largemouth Bass and Sons. What's going on at Largemouth Bass and Sons? Location unlocked, Largemouth Bass and Sons. I'm gonna make a missing poster for Charles. While you don't have a pin with which to attach a poster to the noteboard, you could write Charles's name on the missing posters that are already here. Oh. I feel like this is a decision maybe we're making at the moment. Add and Charles Wallace to both posters? But should I not want people saved? Are there some people who do not want to be saved here? I don't know. You know what? I'm adding and Charles Wallace to both posters. That's it. I'm gonna go simple. Inquire at Largemouth Bass and Sons. Bass and Sons. And Charles Wallace. Okay, never mind. That didn't work so well. You've noticed everything there is worth noticing on that board. Time to aim or wander aimlessly into this fetid swamp. Radio Shack's in the distance, Largemouth Bass and Sons there as well. Let's go to the Moonshiners Shack. This rotten stump is crawling with worms, and the worms are crawling within it. There's a chaotic mess of animal tracks leading in all directions. I take a closer look. You identify several sets of tracks leading away from the cabin. I'm not going to follow any of these footprints until I know why I would. A ramshackle cabin, or maybe a ram cabin shackle? I step inside. This pot has been demoted from soup to chamber. Blech. Whoever was here last must have left in a hurry. There's still a poker game in progress. I investigate. You draw cards until you beat the hands that were left on the table and you collect the winnings. 21 meat. There's a spare car tire leaning up against the wall here, which I investigate. The tread pattern on this tire identifies it as a Lincoln. which sounds as an impressive piece of deduction, but honestly the top hat and beard were a dead giveaway. A rusty old fire-powered still. You're pretty sure these aren't meant to be operated indoors, and there's nothing in this jarro. It's full of ashes, but they're cold. Seems like nobody's been here for a while. A couple of soggy bedrolls lay at the bottom. Maybe I'll need a tire for a Lincoln at some point, and we'll be back for it. You know, I'm gonna follow the tire tracks out of here. You follow the tire tracks until you lose track of them in the water near a partially submerged cave. We find the Moonshiners Cave, which I will check out. Boom. Somebody's old campsite, and it looks trashed, but fresh. Investigate. Amidst all the garbage strewn about, you find a shiny 7/8 an inch combination wrench with CW printed on the side. Painted on the side, rather. You got an item, Charles's wrench. Charles dropped his 7/8 inch combination wrench as a clue to help you find him, rather. Return it to Charles when you find him. Sure. That's strange. Now, obviously, this belongs to Charles, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who'd lose one of his tools carelessly. Nor the kind of guy who'd leave his trash around a campsite. You look around more carefully and discover weird tracks in the mud. Big, clawed bipedal tracks. Maybe Gatorman tracks? And there's a spot where some kind of scuffle clearly happened. Oh, jeez. Well, that tears it. Charles Wallace must have gotten kidnapped by Gatorman. Maybe he dropped the wrench on purpose to attract your attention. Hopefully you can find him soon. I'm coming, Charles! This must be referring, this no fishing sign, to the deeper water that's way over to the right. I disobey. Nice, you got a slithering puke fish. Best believe we pulled up a brown-eyed slime fish. Oh, just a dirty sandfish that time. Those will sell excellently. They don't taste great, or look great. Alright, Moonshiners Cave. Let's close the shadow pouch pocket. Getting ourselves 10 experience for having done so. This Ford truck has been fitted with Lincoln tires. That's a little ominous. A couple of shady looking characters furtively skulking in this cave. I talk to them. Hi?
Hi. Hello.
Are you Jarvis and Clem Schlitz? Nah, I'm Clem, he's Jarvis.
Shut up, Clem. They might be a proie.
Oh, I ain't Clem.
And I ain't Jarvis.
Relax, guys. I just saw the poster at the bus stop and I got curious. I'm not gonna turn you in. My name's Ryan.
Ooh, that's a relief. Sure is. Good to meet you, Ryan.
What are you two doing in this weird cave? Got ourselves in a right predicament's what we done. What happened? Well, me and Jarvis been brewing up homemade hooch to sell, been stashing it back in this cave here.
But what we got with the proies was on our trail, we figured we better cheese it. Pull the old 23 skidoo, you know? Come to find a pack of them mean lizard varmints got in the hooch and they won't give it back.
We were thinking we could just take the last and blow, but we had another snag. What kind of snag? I went and locked up the cars and keys in the truck.
Still don't get why'd you go to do a fool thing like that for.
I told ya, it ain't like I went and did it on purpose or nothing. Alright, I'll see what I can do. It's a vein of confident limestone. I get some advice. You listen carefully to the stone, it gives you good advice, and the materials with which to implement it. Some powerful grit, some energizing powder, and impenetrable shellac. These Gatormen have gotten into the Schlitz brothers' batch of hooch. They're popping the bottle caps off with their teeth, guzzling down the contents, and generally just having too much of a good time to notice you. Let's have a look at my... those are pretty good stats at the moment. I don't know if I need to increase my moxie anymore here. I approach them. They growl at you menacingly, plainly too sozzled to just jump up and attack you. On the other hand, if you get too near their booze, that could change in an instant. I frighten them away. Wow, you guys are really into that baby formula. You must be missing some vitamins or something.
Booze good. Wait, baby?
Yeah, we feed that stuff to human babies so they grow up big and strong, like me. You hold up your arm and make a barely visible bicep.
Drink. Booze make strong? Humans weak?
Hey now, I lived on that stuff when I was a kid, and I'm in peak physical shape. Want to see me do a push-up? I'm feeling pretty good. I bet I can do 2 or 3.
The gatormen are so disgusted by this, they drop the bottles and stomp away without even pausing to beat you up. Thanks for not taking the time. It's Jarvis's and Clem's hooch. What's left of it. You grab a case, and since you're heading back anyway, Jarvis and Clem can haul the rest themselves. Jarvis nods kindly at you, but Clem is clearly fretting about their truck.
I dealt with the gators. You can get your hooch, or what's left of it.
You hand over the case you picked up.
Well, heck, that's great news. No, thanks, friend. We'll get to loading the truck in a jiffy.
I'm gonna leave him for now. They're fretting about the truck.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, it's all locked up tight. You could probably jimmy the door open if you had a coat hanger. And in fact, I do. I get the car unlocked,
but my coat hanger gets ruined in the process. Shooks. I've unlocked it. Let's go back.
I unlocked your truck for you. Well, dang, that's a load off my mind. Thanks, pal.
I'm driving this time.
Yeah, that's fair. Looks like you guys are good to go. Sure does. Thanks a million, pal. You really saved our bacon.
And how?
We ain't got much to offer you by the way of rewards, but feel free to grab a hooch. Grab a hooch as a thank you.
You got an item, a case of whiskey. You've got a bad case of sobriety, and the only way to cure it is a good case of whiskey.
Thanks.
They quickly load the rest of the hooch into the back of the truck and drive away. Unfortunately, you forgot to pay attention on how they used the truck to get through that weird tree hole.
Maybe next time.
Beautiful. I know where this goes, Fancy Dan. And in fact, I think I'm gonna go back to Ocean City and hand this in to Fancy Dan as a way to cap the episode for the moment.
Sup, boys?
Fancy Dan, I found a case of whiskey. Good deal, I'll add it to the menu right away. Okay, whiskey is Muscle and Moxie. Something that we have really wanted. I'm gonna get the cola and an olive. Beautiful. And with that wee little nightcap there, I'm gonna say that my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Shadows Over Loathing. Top left is a series playlist for all of the content in the game, past, present, future. YouTube recommendation down below, streaming past and the names of the people so generously supporting the public on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays, at or above the thank you, as well as thanks to this episode to someone named Sean. Hopefully you'll be enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.